Draymond Green and Jaylen Brown got tangled up after Draymond contested a jumper. Brown stood up and alleged Draymond tried to pull his pants down. Some expected the officials to call a double tech foul since Green got a technical in the first quarter. If that had happened, Draymond would have been ejected. Shannon, what do you think here? Did Draymond deserve a second tech?
Yeah. You can't put your feet on somebody's head. And then when he gets his feet off you, you push him in the back. But this is what Draymond knew, Skip. Draymond knew that once he got that first tech, the officials don't want to throw, hold on, this is the NBA Finals. Because remember in 2016, Skip, everybody talks about is Draymond being suspended. Nobody is talking about the accumulation of points that Draymond got for getting those flagrant fouls in the finals, in the playoffs, which led to him being suspended. All they saw was the singular act when it was accumulation of acts. So Draymond knows, Skip, once I get this first one, I get to say, because Skip, he started out jawing. And even the one that he got a tech on, Skip, he ran over Grant Williams, and Grant Williams got a call. Mm-hmm. He's arguing. I'm like, Draymond, they called a foul on the guy that you just ran over. Why are you still arguing? So Draymond knows, Skip, they're going to be less likely because they don't want to throw me out of the ball game in the NBA Finals. So I can keep it going. He fouls the guy. His feet is on the guy's head. The guy gets his feet off. He shoves him in the back. Anybody else in that situation getting a double T? That's what you do. You just T. Instead of, you know what, I'm going to give him a tech because he started it, whatever. I'm just going to give both of you a T. But if I give both of you a T, Jaylen Brown stays in the game. Draymond's gone in the second quarter. Yeah, okay. What we found out, there was a foul on Draymond Green. No flip, no double, boom. So that was it. He knew, Skip. Draymond knew. It's going to be less likely, Skip. Now that I got that first one, they're not wanting to throw Draymond out of the game. But I believe anybody else, had they done what Draymond did, they're getting a tech. And if they got one, they got one. And everybody keeps talking, I read about the owner, that's good refereeing. Skip, what about Draymond? The owner should be on Draymond. Man, I got a tech. Man, I need to chill here, man. I can't be shoving people. I can't be putting my feet on someone's head. Why is the onus on the official that he's like, hey, damn, I think Draymond got a take earlier. Let me see. Draymond should be going through that same scenario in his own head. So, yes, I believe Draymond deserved a tech. I believe the only reason that like he said, sometimes his reputation works against him. I believe in this situation, his reputation worked for him.
Okay, before I answer Jen's question, quick point of order. I had not been aware that in 2016, that was just an accumulation of points, that it was an automatic suspension.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was
I was not aware of that.
Yes.
So it was just a points suspension.
Yeah, it was a point. Because remember, Skip, he had gotten you-know-who.
Okay, I don't remember that because all the talk was on the show I was on, all the back and forth with all the analysts was over, should a starter and a key starter be suspended in the middle of the NBA Finals, because it did change the course of the Finals.
But the act, I don't believe it was the singular act, Skip. He had done this.
I know he'd done it, but I didn't know it was a points accumulation.
What do you get? You get 2 points for a flagrant 2, because he had gotten Steven Adams in the playoffs before. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think they played OKC in the series before they played
he got him good. And then on this one, he screams out the B word at LeBron with Kiki Vandeweghe, the minister of
discipline,
punishment, sitting in the second row, and he audibly heard it. And then they go down to the other end, and they get tangled up, LeBron and Draymond kicks him in the midsection.
Right.
What? Well, it's double jeopardy, and so I guess the commissioner said to Kiki, I don't know how we can't suspend him. Well, I just don't like to see the playing field tilted one way or the other in the middle of the NBA Finals. It's just, it was unheard of.
But don't you?
It was unprecedented.
But isn't that on the player to know that how valuable you are?
Sure.
That's what LeBron says. I know if I were to get kicked out and somebody else get kicked out, that's weighted differently. There's no equal value on the other team, me bickering with somebody get kicked out. What Draymond has to know, well, I'm the heartbeat of the team. I rebound, I play defense, I facilitate. So if I get kicked out, I still believe Draymond getting kicked out would be a bigger loss than Jaylen Brown getting kicked out.
Okay, and yet in those days in 2016, as you have pointed out in Game 7, Draymond was much more explosive offensively than he is now when he's sort of an afterthought.
Skip, he had 32, 15, and 9.
Yeah, you made the case he could have been the MVP, right?
Yes.
He was making a late case that he was 32, 15, and 9 in Game 7 at home. The game that Steph disappeared in, and all of a sudden LeBron and Kyrie rose and shone.
Correct.
Okay. Back to Jen's question. Just because I'm still a little bitter and raw from 2016, I don't want to see him suspended. So my first reaction, and I immediately tweeted, maybe this is a don't hit send immediately, but I'm going with gut level, knee-jerk reaction. I didn't want to see him suspended because it's just, I just want to see the best player stay in the game. Right. And it's one of those ticky-tack things where it's close to, and I do not disagree with your presentation of why it should have been a technical foul. Although in today's NBA, everything's a technical foul. So given that framework that we work under, you're right. Everything's a technical foul because they try to defuse every little situation with boom, boom, double tech. And I'm like, oh, stop it. Really, double tech? Again, I grew up through the days, through the 80s when people played football, man. I mean, they just went after each other, and I loved it, and everybody was okay, and yet the game was a little uglier because it was a little harder to watch because it was just so physical that Pat Riley's Knicks turned it into almost unwatchable basketball. Right. Okay, so I get it. So this is much more fun to watch, but you have to defuse these situations. So what did what did Draymond do? As soon as he came out last night, he said, we're going to have an attitude adjustment, and I'm going after them because I set the tone on our team on defense. Not on offense, it's Steph. We're going to get to that in a few minutes here. But on defense, I do this. He does. And I do it with my mouth as well as my physicality and my know-how, my savvy, my gray area savvy. The way I play, I'll do just about anything on defense to give my team an edge, and it's a hard edge. So before we go any farther, could we see what he did on the first possession of the game? Remember what he did to Al Horford? Right. If we could see this set the tone for the game. Here we go right away, and he just says, oh, watch this. I'm going to take the ball out of Al Horford's hands, and he ties him up, and they got the ball on the jump ball. Okay, so that set the tone for, as Steve Kerr said after the game, we played with much more force and much more physicality. Well, it's because it starts with that guy. Correct. Okay? Yes. And his mouth is just, it is motoring, man. It is all over everybody. And he gets the first technical, but he's not going to back off. And I agree with your take. He knows that he's now going to be protected because they don't want to throw a quote-unquote star out, or at least a valuable cog in the Warriors. Correct. That is correct. Do they want to make sure that they have a 1-1 going back to Boston? You ain't really trying to go down. You want the series 0-2. You don't want to see this as sweep. Nobody loves a sweep. No. The advertisers don't love it. Nobody loves it. The network doesn't love it. Nobody loves it. And my friend Steve Javie at ESPN, he is great at former official. Yeah, former official. So he said last night that he readily admitted, you have to ref that, to your point, you have to ref that situation knowing that if you go tack, that he's gone. Right. So you have to be aware of that. So, they're reffing to protect him. Well, I don't love that because that's like fixing the game the wrong way. Exactly. That feels fixed, right? So you tell me it's actually a technical foul, but because he got a tech, we can't call it, because if we call it, that's 2 techs, he's going to be thrown out of the ball game. So we got to make sure that doesn't happen. And we know, Skip, if you put your feet on anybody else's head, let me ask you a question. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Marcus Smart puts his feet on Steph Curry's head. What you think they call him, Skip? Or Derek White puts his feet on Steph Curry's head? Okay, so to me, the more I watch the rerun of the play, if we could see it again, this is Rodman-esque. He's trying to get under Jaylen Brown's skin. Well, I'm not going to go dirty play, but it's a cheap play, the way he just falls backwards into him. Well, as he goes, he's just going to fall backwards all over him. Well, I don't know, it's quasi-dangerous. He didn't go underneath him, but he fell back into him, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. He's trying to provoke him, right? He started out being a pest the whole entire night. He just passed it. He's being Rodman-esque the whole game. Yes. So the point is, then as he gets up, he does grab Jalen's shorts and yank on him, okay? And Jalen says he's just all over him. He's kicking him. He's pulling on his pants. Well, now he's just begging for a team. Right. And again, all of it, each of those little things is not a big thing to me, but does it add up to a technical foul? Yeah, it does. It's like, here, I'll try this. No, I'll try this. Okay, well, then I'll try this. I'll get up in his face, and I'll yell at him, and to the point that it looks like we're about to get into it, although I never see Draymond really fight anybody. Right. But again, he just instigates.
Yes.
So he's instigating it like crazy. And Jeff Van Gundy made the point, you got to entice him, just keep going. Like, go ahead and beg him to come at you for Jaylen Brown.
Right.
So in the end, yeah, I come all the way around to you. It added up to a technical foul, and they just said, we don't do that.
No.
We're going to keep him in. So I'm still bitter and raw from 2016. So I'm glad that Draymond stayed in the game just for my viewing experience.
Right.
I'm rooting for Golden State last night. So do I want to see him gone? No, I don't. So am I objective? No, I'm not.
But Skip, at that much bickering at the officials, at some point the officials normally say, okay, Draymond, that's enough. Okay, Draymond, that's enough.
I'm sure they were trying.
But Skip, at some point, but here's the thing though, after you say that's enough, I don't need to try anymore. No. You tee him up. It's as simple as that, Skip. But he knows, Skip, I get this first one. He got that first one out the way early. So now I got y'all in my pocket for at least, because I know y'all ain't trying to throw me out. Y'all not trying to throw me out on a primetime game in the NBA Finals. Y'all not going to do it. So I'm going to keep it going. And he kept it going. And Udoka finally like, okay, well, hold on, bro. So what this man got to do? What does he got to say?